moving your body, riding your bike makes you feel good, makes you feel strong. And when you're moving regularly, you get better sleep, you build muscle, your metabolism burns more calories. It's all connected. Welcome to the Biking Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Smith, and I lost 50 pounds riding my bike by focusing on what my body can do. Now, I teach other women how to do the same. I am obsessed with completely flipping the script on weight loss so that we can work out to feel good and feel strong. If you are ready to stop dieting, learn how to appreciate your body, and have fun riding your bike, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Welcome, my friend, to the Biking Wellness Podcast. In today's episode, we're going to talk all about why biking is the key to sustainable wellness and to sustainable weight loss. So I know that you have probably lost weight in the past, and you may have done it and thought, okay, well, I need to exercise and I need to watch what I eat and I need to follow these rules, and that's how I'm going to lose weight. And then you go and you do all of the things and you follow all the rules. Maybe you consult with family, consult with friends or strangers on the internet, see what's worked for them, and you get all of this advice, right? And so some people will tell you like, okay, you've got to do keto, or let's do a Whole30, we'll do it together, or let's sign up for Weight Watchers, let's sign up for Noom. Some other people will just be like, oh, it's just calories in and calories out. So simple. And just put everything into an app like MyFitnessPal and you'll be great. So I know you've gotten all of the advice, and I know you are wondering why I'm sitting here claiming you need to ride a bike if you want to lose weight. And so here's the thing. The reason why movement and moving your body is essential to long-term sustainable weight loss is because it makes you feel good. It makes you feel strong. And when you find a movement like biking that you absolutely love, you want to do it. And you want your body to be strong and to be healthy so that you can do the activities that you love. So you may know that I lost 50 pounds a number of years ago now, and I have kept the 50 pounds off. And you might be wondering, okay, well, how did you do it? How is this time different for you? And the answer is that it was all about riding my bike. And probably not for the reason you're thinking. It's not because I was burning a ton of calories, although at times I was. It wasn't because the muscles in my legs got stronger, although they absolutely did. It was because movement feels good. And I finally took the focus off of what my body looked like in the mirror and wanting to look good in a bathing suit and wanting to lose weight and be skinny in order to fit some sort of societal ideal. And instead, I took the focus and I put it on the movement and I put it on having fun. So when I was standing in the mirror and I was the heaviest I had ever been since I was actually carrying another human, I came to the realization that I needed to do something different, and that what I had been doing for years, for decades, wasn't working. And I knew that I wanted to make this progress not because of wanting to look a certain way. I knew that wasn't going to be a good enough reason. I wanted to feel good. I wanted to be strong. And I wanted to be around for a really long time. You see, my son was 5 years old at the time, and I'm an older mom, and I wanted to be able to keep up with him. I wanted to be able to run around with him, and I wanted to be here for him for a really long time. And so I was basically standing in front of the mirror, and I was realizing, I can do this. I can figure this out. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to give up. And I am going to keep riding my bike until I get the results that I want. So I'm going to, in this episode, talk to you about the major reasons why exercise and movement are so key to losing weight, because you've probably heard that, oh, it's 80% diet and 20% exercise. And, as long as you're eating the right things, you can lose weight. And while I'm not disputing that, and I'm absolutely acknowledging that technically that may be true, it doesn't matter really if you don't have the desire to do it. So if you're like standing in front of the pantry and you've had a really crappy day and you're wondering, okay, what are my next steps? Because I just want to shovel all the food in my face right now. You need a good reason to not do that. And for me, when I was riding my bike, I was feeling better. I was feeling stronger, and I had more energy, and I was so much less likely to find myself in that place and to find myself in that situation. So let's talk about some of the reasons why moving your body, for me specifically, it's biking. I'll acknowledge for you it might be something else. We'll talk about that more in a minute. But the biking piece for me was key. And I know that if you're here, you think it might be for you too. So first of all, when you're in the habit of moving your body regularly, you focus on what it can do and you want to take care of it. So for example, I remember being in my 20s and my coworker Maggie, she was this awesome, fantastic, wonderful human. And I was chatting with her and she said to me, and this stuck with me, obviously, for 20 years now, she said, I really don't think too much about what I eat, because when I really want to lose weight, I focus on going to the gym. I focus on moving my body, because then I know that I'm just going to want to eat better and I'm going to want to take care of myself better. And of course, it took me some time to really act on that, but I never forgot it because it's so true. You absolutely can lose weight without exercise. However, it makes you put so much more emphasis on the food. And if you're anything like me, you don't want to be thinking about food all of the time. And I know that I was thinking about food constantly. And I was really trying to move away from that. I didn't want to obsess over calories, judge my food choices, and think about food all of the time. And one of the big things that my program members say is that they don't want to do that either. So when we move regularly and we support our bodies and take care of them, when we're in the habit of moving regularly, we are so much more likely to actually make better choices. So again, you've got to move and you've got to find the fun in movement, which really brings me to my next point, which is that riding bikes is so much fun. And you have to find the fun. You have to find the fun in biking. Find the fun in weight loss. Otherwise, you're going to be miserable and you're going to make choices that don't fit your goals and you're going to give up. And we are absolutely not giving up. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about, okay, when I was little, what are the sorts of things that I did for fun? Like when you would climb a hill on your bike and go flying down the hill, or maybe you loved to run around and play tag, or maybe you loved to ice skate. Actually, my friend Lori just told me that she has found her thing and it's ice skating. And her eyes light up when she talks about ice skating the same way that my eyes light up when I talk about biking. So I will acknowledge that it might be fun for you. That it might be something other than biking for you, and that's totally fine. As I've mentioned before, you can get a lot of some things out of this podcast, even if biking isn't your thing. But you have to find movement that you love and movement that you enjoy. So before I started biking, I actually thought I loved running. And so if you're sitting here thinking like, no, Stacey, I actually like something more, I totally understand. I hear you. And I thought I loved running, but I had a really hard time getting myself out there on the road to run, even though maybe there are fewer steps. You just got to put your shoes on, head outdoors. I just wasn't doing it very often. And then my husband said, you really should try biking. I really want to buy you a bike. I think that you're going to love it as much as I do. And I was super skeptical. However, once I gave cycling a real shot and I really tried it, I realize that this is my thing. I love it. So even if biking isn't your thing right now, I really encourage you to just give it a try and just see, because maybe it can be your second thing and maybe you can have multiple ways of moving your body. So just a quick disclaimer on why biking I think is the most wonderful, fun thing ever to do. But as long as you're moving your body, I truly don't care how you're doing it. I want you to move your body in a way that you really, really enjoy moving. And when you do that, that is when you are going to want to take care of your body better. So moving your body, having fun, it just is this whole different way of looking at getting the results you want in your body. So the next thing that I want to talk about is how regular movement is a huge mood booster and a huge stress reliever. Make sure that you check out the show notes for this episode, because I'm going to link some resources and some studies that have shown this really strong connection between exercise, your mood, and stress relief. So when you feel good, you are so much more likely to make good decisions. And so that's why having a good mood booster like exercise, like movement, is so key. And like I said, it doesn't always have to be biking, because even those of us who love biking, we aren't always able to get on our bikes. Either the weather's terrible, we don't have an indoor biking option, maybe we need to find a different way to move our bodies. But the idea is that when you move, you have a tendency to feel better. Even if you just have time to get outside for a walk during lunch, being outside and being in the sunshine and the sunlight, that is a huge mood booster. And when we feel good, we are so much more likely to make better decisions. Also, biking has a tendency to reduce cortisol levels. Now, cortisol is a stress hormone. And when we are really stressed out, we are much more likely to make bad decisions when it comes to our mood, when it comes to biking, when it comes to the food choices that we're making. And so if we can reduce the cortisol levels in our brain, if we can reduce our stress, then we are going to feel so much better, and we are going to be so much more likely to get the results we want. We're going to be so much less likely to overeat. So follow me here. We are overweight because we overeat. And we often overeat when we're stressed. We often overeat when we're unhappy. We come home from a hard day at work. We finally get the kids to bed. And then we are done. We are ready to relax. We want to unwind in front of the TV with some snacks. And this isn't a problem or an issue if you're actually hungry when you're doing it. But if you're eating to, make yourself feel better, if you're eating because you had a bad day, if you're eating because you're stressed and you're frustrated, because you feel like you deserve it, then that's when you are going to be putting food into your body that your body really doesn't need. And you're going to be making choices that are not going to get you the health results that you want. So that is why reducing stress and boosting your mood is so incredibly helpful when you're trying to lose weight. The next thing that I want to talk about is that there is a direct correlation and link between moving our bodies and getting better sleep. So what that means is if we're working out, if we're moving our bodies during the day, then according to the National Library of Medicine, regular physical activity has several health benefits, including improved sleep quality and symptoms of sleep disorders. So you might be wondering, okay, well, why does that matter? Well, a lot of times you might not realize just how essential sleep is to your ability to lose weight, to your success in weight loss. Our body is physically doing so much to repair itself when we're sleeping. It is making sure that our metabolism is able to metabolize our food. And our body is also, believe it or not, while we are sleeping, helping us deal with all of the garbage and crap and stress that we had going on in our lives during the day. So during sleep, especially during REM sleep, our brains are void of certain hormones that make us stressed out, that make us feel stressed. So we're able to deal with all of the BS from our lives in those moments when we're asleep. which might not sound like a big deal or sound like it correlates itself to weight loss. But when we think about how when we are lacking sleep, when we're in a bad mood, we're so much less likely to make good decisions. We're so much more likely to stay on the couch. We're so much less likely to think about making healthy food choices. Then you can see just how important and how essential that sleep is in our weight loss and in our weight loss efforts. Which brings me to my final kind of science-y point that I wanted to share with you all, which is that riding your bike means you're getting stronger. Getting stronger means you're building muscle, and building muscle means you're increasing your metabolism. So never will I ever tell you to count a single calorie. Never will I ever champion calories in, calories out, and tell you to put everything into an app. However, the basic science is that the stronger our metabolism, the more active our metabolism is, the more muscle mass we have, the better we are to metabolize our food, to digest our food, to get our food into the places that it needs to be in our bodies to give us the kind of energy that we need to go about our day. And that leads to weight loss. And so even though I think that the science behind weight loss really should never be your primary reason, I think understanding the science behind it can be really useful. So during this podcast, I'm often going to chat with you about just, kind of what actually physically is happening and going on in our minds and bodies that can lead to us losing weight. Because the better understanding we have of that, the more likely we are to get all those results that we want. So just to kind of recap here, at the end of the day, the deal is, of course, you can lose weight without biking. Of course, you can lose weight without moving your body. But I want you to ask yourself, is it really going to be sustainable weight loss? Is it really going to be feeling good in your body? Are you really going to be healthy and feeling strong if you don't move? And don't you want the increase in energy? And don't you want to find the fun? Because biking should be fun. Weight loss should be fun. We shouldn't be like white knuckling and miserable throughout this entire process. And by finding that way of moving your body that makes you feel good and feel strong, then you are so much more likely to get those results that you want. All of the sciencey things that I talk about hopefully give you some concrete data points if you're kind of skeptical about just how useful and beneficial this is. But basically, what we've been talking about during this whole episode is that moving your body, riding your bike makes you feel good, makes you feel strong. And when you're moving regularly, you get better sleep, you build muscle, your metabolism burns more calories. It's all connected. We just want to feel good. We just want to be happy. Of course, we want to lose weight. And of course, you will follow. If you follow my instructions, you absolutely will lose weight. But at the end of the day, making the best decisions and making the best choices all comes from and stems from finding a way to move that feels good and celebrating our body for what it can do. Because when you move your body, when you realize, oh my gosh, my legs are responsible for propelling my bike and getting me from point A to point B, you just have this appreciation for your body that if you're anything like me, you never really had before. And that, my friend, is the key to getting the results you want, feeling the way you want, being happy, and moving forward and making progress. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Biking Wellness Podcast. I cannot wait to talk to you in the next one. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Biking Wellness Podcast. Be sure to head on over to sassy.com/guide, SASCY.com/guide, to get my completely free Lose Weight Biking Quick Start Guide so that you can get started with simple, doable weight loss today. That's SASCY.com/guide.